This is Daniel, your Game Master and Master of Ceremony.
This is Tori, and I play Dooley.
This is Sorcerer, and I play Ty.
This is Becca, and I play Milgram.
And this is Odyssey, a Babylon 5 story. Welcome aboard.
It is for me. Oh, you shouldn't have. Of course you should have, but thank you for doing this anyway. It means the world to me that you would present me with a gift such as this. See, this is why I like my cast and crew. They give great performance, do good work, and then they give me gifts. What's not to like, huh? And what is this? A new functional microphone. Oh, this is amazing. Thank you very much. This is going to help me do so much good work with this. Good. What is the occasion anyway? I take it that's a human thing. Or where is it? Is this an Earther tradition? A Marzer tradition? Or, well, it's certainly not Mimbari. I mean, they like their gifts and everything, but it's more to the spiritual stuff, not something like this. Ooh, it's coated in gold. Oh, you know what I like. Oh, that explains the, Ooh, well, that's an interesting image to paint on this side. I like it. Good. And look, we have guests. Yes, come, sit. You're just in time to watch me enjoy this new gift from my associates here. Thank you very much to all my casting crew who made this possible, and to you great listeners who allow us to do this on a regular basis by supporting us, by enjoying our work. In other words, thank you for buying our stuff. That being said, I imagine you want to know more about the good stuff and more about what happened at the Tau Maria Celestia, yes? Good. Now, here's the good news. I get to try out this good microphone like this and allow the recording to tell you what happened last time. I am going to sit back and enjoy this story with you.
So, shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Gonna have to tell us where we were.
Okay. Yeah. How could y'all forget? So the last thing that happened last episode was Dooley and Ty went to set up the trap for the captain by imprisoning Milgram in a cell. Had to explain to Kali that Ty is in fact Ty in a human body and not, another brain chumped, who knows, possessed thing. During which time the captain shows up with a grenade and a smile. And
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
So there was that fight where the captain was trying to blow her way into the cell using a spray explosive. And Ty and Dooley put up a decent fight, sort of, and able to hold off the captain for a while, including the fact that Dooley literally got sprayed in the face with the spray explosive foam and her armor. So basically, when all looked darkest, Milgram came by, used his telepathic and telekinetic powers to keep her in stasis for a moment while fighting it, and then he said, company's coming, essentially. He told everyone to get to the armory, but right before y'all closed the armory door, you saw that the hatch opened and about 5 or 6 people came in whose heads opened up and bugs came out and started devouring the captain. And when the captain was fully devoured, the thumb on the detonator she had fell and exploded. Now, you guys were in the armory, thus protected from the explosion. And I just want to say this for the record. The reason why the explosive on Dooley didn't go off is, of course, the armory is sealed for all transmissions. It's a zero area to make sure nothing goes in or out. So Yes, when you got out, you found pieces of Milgram. You found very little left of the captain. The whole security office is probably going to need repair, lots of it. And you found one bug that had remained but was dead. And so that's what was going on with Tai and Julie. In the other side of things, for Mirgrat was helping out Tuvo, who, the episode before said, I don't feel too good, blood shooting out his nose and passing out. You figured out that he was receiving a high-speed telepathic transmission that his brain was having a hard time coping with. And then in process, not only did you help him deal with that, as well as the other brains who basically helped share the download load, as it were.
This is why you have to treat your brains well, because then they help you out.
Exactly. There's another quote for you. This is why you have to treat your brains well. With all that, when you started singing, because you didn't know what else to do with him, you found a place where he could feel connected and assured, because he was feeling loneliness and isolations, and that just kind of the deep darkness that came from within, that, like, I guess you call it post-revelatory depression, where you've been so high up and you see this great thing, and the fact you're back down in the dirt just kind of like throws you. So you started singing to Tuvo, and it became a beautiful song. And at the end of it, while holding Tuvo and saying, kind of doing the equivalent of "it's going to be okay," in your mind, you started hearing the song being sung back from someplace not too far away.
Yeah, this can't end well.
Okay, the number of times that our games has involved the phrase, "we are fucked," and yet y'all are still here. That's a good sign.
I mean, just because shit gets real doesn't mean you stop trying.
As a survivor.
So where we left off was Julie had picked up the bug and said, "Oh, I believe Mirgrat will want to see this in in-depth detail."
That is a good assumption. Lean into that instinct.
We begin with Julie and Tai, after picking up the things and leaving Kali to basically clean up and see if she can get an engineering crew to help deal with the security office, or otherwise figure out where they can set up a secondary security office. Because, explosions.
Hey, and this time it wasn't entirely my fault.
Hey! Progress.
We're improving.
Mm-hmm.
No hydrogen to work with, no methane. So yeah. So you're basically, fast forward a little bit, where you got the bug and you're taking it back to Mirgrat. So basically, about the time that Mirgrat is hearing the song from far away is when the door chime, and it's Julie and Tai wanting back in, because I believe y'all are heading in that direction. Just so I know, can I get a notice check for both Julie and Tai?
Okay.
Oh, it's poorly.
Let's see. I have to remember how to do
23.
this.
Oh, 23 with a natural 20. Okay.
I'm getting there. 25.
5, not bad. Interestingly, yes, Tori got the better score and the better roll, but Tai got a natural 20, which in theory isn't supposed to matter much for skill checks, but I like having the natural 20 just in case. So both of you notice fairly quickly when you're going through, it's not even a minor change. It's kind of significant. There are fewer people on the promenade and various areas you had to travel through to get back to the second class area and Mirgrat's back in. So it seems to be less and less people every time you're here. Now, you have mentioned that there was a significant bunch of people who are missing. There are people who are now down on the planet because, they're trying to set up a temporary or more permanent structure base in case they have to be back, which is starting to look more interesting. Oh, I almost forgot to mention last time, and this broke it out. There was an information that came up about the model maker. Again, you guys don't have much about it, but it was something that Tuvo was important enough to mention. So just if that comes up later, there you go. Just had to remember that. But yeah, you're noticing that a lot of areas, a lot of shops that should be open on the promenade, because again, this is, shopping happens in every resort and every cruise ship. A couple of the stores are closed. A couple of the kiosks are not open up. So yeah, but you're noticing everything around here is a lot quieter. Some kiosks are not open. Some stores are not available. Now, it's not like in Wasteland, like nobody's out, everyone's locked up. But it definitely seems more spacious, a lot more spacious.
It's like one of those streets that used to have a lot of stuff going on, but now a lot of the businesses are for rent. And so there's just like, people don't go to that street as much. There aren't as many open storefronts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just seems kind of like older and sadder and less nice.
Kinda, yeah. But it's not quite the full Wasteland or, this used to be a town or anything else like that. You can still see plenty of people.
No,
it's just drastic.
Clearly on the decline.
Mm-hmm.
People are walking through more than they are walking around.
Exactly. Except for the casino. That's packed.
Shocker.
I mean, you gotta do something for fun.
Let's avoid that area for now.
You do know a couple people who seem to be kind of on watch. They're not the usual security people, but they look like they're just trying to keep the area. They're sitting and observing in a way that, for Ty, getting the cool role, seems like people are not casing the place, more as they're being hyper vigilant. Again, it's kind of like when store people, instead of relying on the cops or anything else like that, kind of stand out front or hire people to stand out front of various shops.
Mm-hmm.
It
Small
kind of has
cops,
that feel.
yeah. Small cops, yeah. Okay.
Well, not even like cops, but or even rent-a-cops. It's more just people doing it because. A significant portion of them, you notice, are Narn.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of Drazis are doing it. A couple of other groups are involved. But yeah, again, there's plenty of humans doing it too, and not so many Minbari, and almost no Centauri. But that's to be expected. There's very few on the ship. Yeah, 2 of the Major Centauri, y'all know. But a lot of the other major races, I mean, there's a couple other minor races that have their, let's just say, representatives on the Citizens Patrol. But yeah, the majority look to be about Narnish. Narn or Drazi.
The pak'ma'ra Patrol has a very specialized beat.
Oh, yeah. Well, pak'ma'ra Patrol is just I'm here, and we're done now. Thank you. Because humans go, with a lot of other species, like, look, you're not the most pleasant to be around, and you have a reputation of eating people once we're dead. You know what? We're good. We're good.
Hey, at least we wait until you're dead. Like,
exactly.
we're not monsters.
You're not looking up to it. Your thigh would be amazing in a stew. Can I have it now?
No, that would be crass.
I'm sorry, I have this image now of like the collector from Guardians of the Galaxy as a pak'ma'ra going up other interesting species. Going, wow, you would be tasty. I will gladly pay you now for your corpse after you die of natural causes. Fine. Sign here, sign here, sign here, initial here, initial here. Yeah, so you're basically noticing the lack of people and some of the, for lack of a better term, people who seem to be ready to take the law into their own hands. So this is obviously going to bring, nerves into question.
Not my business. They can do what they want with their own shop.
So I can't imagine that neither Ty nor I look like anybody they want to mess with right now, having lived through an explosion and brain-eating bugs. I mean, I know Narn don't have, the equivalent of wild hair, but we've got to have like tattered clothes and gunpowder, or not gun. Well, the equivalent
Smoky
of gunpowder
faces
burns, and I mean, we have to look like we've been through hell.
Honestly, the phrase "not my problem" is also going both ways. As a bunch of people look at you in security armor, because you still have, at least one of you still has your chest, your chest piece, but you also have your security badge, so they're again not going to mess with you, and you're looking like you all came through a battle. Unless you guys step up and do anything, nobody's going to touch you.
Nope.
No, there's no need. I mean, people standing in the hallway. So
again, most of them aren't going to do anything until you start, saying something to them or doing something they disapprove of. But they're very much reactionary. They're not going to do anything until you do something.
Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Not my problem. I'm just going to keep moving.
That would basically be it. So but it is kind of troubling. What the hell? If you guys have knowledge history or knowledge tactics or knowledge civics. Nope. Tori, do you have any of those?
Nope. Law.
Okay.
Yeah, I got customs laws.
Not quite.
Other than that, it's cultures. So.
Okay. Then just do a straight intelligence check.
Both of us?
Yes.
Where?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I rolled a
You
1.
got
So yay.
On 2 ones!
Oh my goodness. So the 1 in 400
Geniuses.
chance of both of us turning to look at each other and say,
Yes, as you both go, wait, there's people who are not security kind of guarding some of the shops on a luxury cruise liner, as if this was a war-torn area or gangland territory or something like that. And yet, and again, there's less people here. The idea that's coming to you guys' mind is there's a powder keg about ready to go. Because when people have given this little faith in any sort of security and stability, nerves get raw, people get scared, and when people get raw and scared, they're going to do something stupid. And so
that's how it works. Also, if there's a hockey game, then they will also do something stupid.
well, it's
True.
a hockey game.
Hockey, a sport so violent it inspired a serial killer. A fake one, but popular. That would be Jason. Basically, you guys make it to Mirgrat's quarters.
Right.
Mirgrat, who is still holding Tuvo until Tuvo kind of starts sleeping. I mean, literally, he just kind of like cries himself to sleep and then just passes out.
Yeah, I've had days like that.
So, yes, there is a chime for the door chime, which is very obviously Julie and Ty. So,
And once again, we look like hell.
Yes. I mean, again, if you forget everything I told you about, what happened with them last time, they're now showing up in partial armor, burn marks, smoke damage, holding a wrapped thing that seems to be covered in a blue viscous goo, and looking like, I guess the word I'd say is ragged.
Yeah, this doesn't actually seem that out of the ordinary based on my experiences with them. Also, I would have
you ain't wrong.
I would assume that Mirgarat has keyed their biometrics into the entrance of the Batcave, so they don't actually need to ring. They can just come in.
Fair enough. So yeah, they just come on in, and they look bad. Oh, and by the way, yes, looks like Julie has this swipe of some pink sticky stuff on her face. Just give me a quick science roll. I don't think I have to. What is it? Not science. It's the knowledge chemistry, if you've got it, or knowledge. Please.
Actually, I think. Can I just use investigate?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll allow it in this case.
Because I'm pretty sure that covers stuff like smelling and tasting, and pak'ma'ra have very, very advanced senses of smell and taste.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, that should have been an 11.
But
So my
still.
result was actually a 29 instead of a 30.
So,
Oh
still,
dear.
I was kind of reaching over my microphone and also my embroidery hoop to type that.
That's an interesting image. Anyway.
Listen, I have a lot of shit on my desk.
That's okay. I just recently cleared off mine, so I thoroughly feel you. So basically, in this case, though, you just kind of go, yeah, Julie, Ty, and just kind of do the whole Julie. Why?
I have brought you into contact with explosives.
Yeah. It's a
the
long story.
captain's dead. My plan worked.
It did.
So, Milgram's also dead, I assume. Probably.
More than likely.
And we brought you a present.
I love presents.
I hand out the package.
I will take it, and then I will sort of like put it. I will put it in my robes and say, I do not have a present. Unfortunately, there was an incident involving intern Tuvo and some data that was being downloaded directly to his brain.
How is that possible?
Is he okay?
That remains
Or-
to be seen.
Is he dead?
Absolutely not.
Do we need to bring him to the medical facility?
That would probably be unwise.
Well,
Okay.
what?
As the war-torn 2, we get this interesting news that Tuvo has received a lot of data directly to his brain. He's having a hard time. Okay. Wait. What? Yeah, just think about that for a second on the other end of things. You literally just came out of a fight for your lives and were just informed about Tuvo in a strange manner. There is a lot about life that does not seem right anymore.
Well, I mean, also the guy in charge of medbay is like a worker, so
Very, very true.
like maybe we don't want our impressionable intern who also had a bunch of like possibly secret data downloaded into his brain hanging out there. Because like I'm just saying, if we're just like, hey, war criminal, we brought you this child that has a bunch of interesting alien data somewhere in his brain. Like I'm not giving good odds that said child gets to keep said brain in the long term.
Okay, well, this is my kid, and I don't want him to die for weird data reasons, so if you can't make sure he's okay, he needs to go to a real doctor.
All right, can I roll a medicine check to like get like an idea of Tuvo's condition so I can tell stuff to Ty to make her feel better?
You actually do have a medical kit, and Ty also has a medical kit technically.
Yeah, but Ty's
But
not
you have a
really a
medical kit.
doctor. She doesn't know what to do with that shit. She was gonna sell it.
27.
27. Okay, you can definitely verify the life signs seem to be stable. That resting heart rate is fine, blood pressure is fine, neural activity seems to be a little elevated, but not outside the bounds of safety parameters.
And also, like, his brain isn't actively oozing out of his ears.
Yeah, that helps.
That's like one of the first things they teach you to check for in med school.
Really? Did not know that. Or did you?
No, like, you know that I was being, like, facetious there, Dan, right?
Okay,
I was
remember
just
that
gonna
whole
let him start telling everybody for the rest of his life that.
Okay, you do remember that whole we're all on a little less sleep than we need, right?
Okay, but, like, actually, you know what? fair, I know I've seen some real fucking idiot doctors. They probably should remember to check that people's brains aren't actively oozing out of their ears.
And Tori and I both know somebody who actively had their brains oozing out their nose.
Wait, excuse me? What?
Technically brain fluid, not brains.
Yeah, well, I guess that's easier on your sinuses, but still, I'm guessing that's bad.
Wasn't a good thing.
Yeah, no.
Fear not! Intern Tuvo is doing just fine physically. I believe he will be alright once he sleeps off the mental shock of having many gigabytes of data downloaded directly to his brain.
I think he's gonna be alright.
There are other things that could happen to him unrelated to this. I cannot say for 100% certainty that he will not come down with a rare case of liver flukes while he is asleep. Although it is unlikely.
Thanks. Great, this is going super well. How did this happen?
That is unknown.
How do you think this happened? Possibly.
Should I roll telepathy to see if I can have any idea?
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Okay. I score in that again.
A really good score.
It's all right. It's not as good as my medicine, but nothing is.
Survey says
22.
Okay, not too bad. You have some theories that definitely there had to be a powerful telepath because most telepathy has to be line of sight. So you have no idea where that would come from because nobody in the room had that level of power. So it had to come from a very powerful telepath directly streaming a lot of information in. And give me a quick intelligence check.
Okay. Heyo.
All right. So yeah, you also have a theory that whoever did this, one, has power levels beyond what normally has been indicated by many powers, and two, would do so out of a sense of desperation. Because why else did you download that amount of data to a small boy on a whim?
I mean, that sounds like the telepathic equivalent of a DDoS attack. So I don't know.
Well, no, a DDoS attack would be a telepathic equivalent of a DDoS attack would be shutting down or flank so much information that their senses shut down.
Isn't that what happened?
Kinda, but we're talking about this is not just, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and touch and whatever. This was archival data.
Yeah, so his sense of time also got totally fucked.
There's that.
I'm just saying, motives remain unknown. They could have just been trying to keep me from having access to my best intern.
That is absolutely true. Absolutely possible. Go ahead and get another medical check.
24.
Okay. From what you can tell from the matter of this could be a DDoS attack. It could be someone trying to deprive you of your intern. It could be someone, doing a direct attack on him because of his history. He is the only half carry on, technically on this ship. Technically. But again, whatever this is, the amount from your scanning, you can definitely tell certain parts of the brain that have been activated. And a lot of storage capacity has been used. Not that they can't learn anything more, but again, the brain is processing a lot of direct long-term memory function.
Yeah, he's probably encoding a bunch of shit right now. While I cannot guess as to the motives, Intern Tuvo was the recipient of a direct telepathic download. However, I do not know of any telepaths currently on the ship who are strong enough to accomplish this feat.
Well, it happened, so clearly someone is. Somewhere.
This is true.
Great, someone else to look for.
We actually know of one. The one who was occupying your body and then jumped to that rogue telepath. What'd they call him? A blip?
Yeah.
The blip?
Yeah.
Oh, you remember what happened to him, though, right?
He got absorbed into the bioship, right?
Yep. Well, absorbed into the big flipper thing that then entered the bioship, and then the bioship left.
Listen, if you enter the bioship, I assume you get absorbed into the bioship. That's how bioships do.
Fair enough.
Okay, so not him. But, you know, if there's one blip, there could be another.
That is true. Okay.
Great. Great. Okay, so I need to find another fucking telepath to find this telepath so that I can remove them.
What?
From the ship permanently.
I love the concept, like, well, now, gotta find a telepath so I can kill another telepath. And then other people are gonna be in danger. So, you know what? I just might as well burn the ship down.
I mean, I cannot blame Ty at this point in time. Like,
yes.
Set it on fire is becoming an increasingly valid, like, decision in this scenario. Like, between the bugs and the telepaths and just all of the shit.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the Adventures of Gumball. Clean everything he touches with fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Elder God's ship at this point.
So, what now?
Question, was I given the link code for the top engineer who was going to work on getting that ship free?
You were given access to him, but remember, that's when the captain attacked and shot and killed a number of engineers, as well as highly wounding Aparo.
Right, but I thought the main engineer was survived.
Yeah. So
because I remember. Yeah.
Let's just say if it's not him, it's somebody else in the line. There's at least some engineer who's working on stuff. What you thinking?
I want to get a status. If we can get that ship free, then, you know, the guy promised to give us a boost towards home.
Yeah, but he's also probably full of shit.
There's a possibility. There's a big possibility.
Seemed legit to me, as much as any of this is at all. I'm gonna stay here and wait for my kid to wake up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Mirgarat's also going to stay and monitor intern Tuvo's vital signs and also, like, confer with the brains regarding any of the data that they got when they were helping manage the overflow.
Okay.
I think Mirgarat's going to start trying to assemble that telepathic jigsaw puzzle.
Assemble the team! Brains! Mirgrat! Form of! Okay. So you're going to monitor his vital signs. Right now, I can tell you that his vital signs are stable. They're not exactly normal because he's asleep. He's unconscious at the moment. And like I said, his long-term memory is very active. His short-term, not so much.
Like, when your brain is jacked up, things can change at any time. Because, like, that's the thing that controls the rest of your body.
True.
So, like, if it's not sending good signals, other shit can, like, decide it can take the wheel, and, fucking surprise, it cannot. Things not your brain should not be in charge of your body.
Understood. So, okay. So, give me a quick medical check anyway, because you did a couple already, but since you said you're monitoring, let's get that for the long term.
35!
All right. Yeah, not only do you know that he's going to be okay, enough of the other brain situations seems to be okay, just the long term is just, again, processing. Everything else seems to be stable. Everything, there's a term for it, it's stripping out of my head. The subconscious activities. Oh, God.
Delta waves?
No, I'm thinking of the stuff that your brain does without conscious thought that is part of an autonomic neural system.
Oh, your automatic functions.
Yeah, thank you. Your automatic functions. His automatic functions are all not only perfectly fine, they seem to be quite stable. I mean, they're just, it's not like spit shined and glossy, but for a boy his age who's gone through the crap he's gone through, he's doing perfectly fine.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
Mirgarat is relieved that Ty will maybe not kill them.
She was thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't blame you. Mirgarat, like, as much as Mirgarat values their favorite intern, actually, I think Tuvo might also be the last intern standing at this point.
Yes, indeed.
But Tuvo was Mirgarat's favorite intern before he was the only intern. But the fact that he's a survivor certainly does help. But no, like, Mirgarat understands the bond that parents have with their children from an outside perspective, and is relieved that they are not going to have to run away from an axe-wielding mama bear. Or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ty, you're keeping an eye on Tuvo, waiting for him to get conscious again, so you're just going to wait there. I'm also assuming that you're going to do the equivalent of a little cleaning up while you're waiting.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, showers.
Yeah. And then, Julie, you said you wanted to talk to the engineer or whomever's involved with this, right?
Yeah, I want to go talk to him.
Okay.
I don't know what else to do. I do need to check in with the, I guess, now captain at some point in time.
Okay. Basically, I can tell you that the engineer you do contact is still basically saying, look, we're working on the project. We now have like 7 different projects we're working on, between keeping the ship together, shuttling people down, looking for long-term habitation in case anything goes wrong here, because this is weirdness. And yes, trying to extract that person's ship from the hull, which even he goes, I don't know how it got there in the first place, but okay.
Yeah, apparently neither does the techno mage.
Huge mystery.
He just kind of like throws his hands up. Sure. Mysteries, no problem. He's a human. He went. I went through catechism. Mysteries all abound. Got it. No more. Don't worry. We'll keep going from there. But he's still working on the project. He's still having a hard time basically figuring out how to remove it from the superstructure, besides being essentially now a load-bearing wall. At the same time, certain duct structures and energy structures are actually routed through that area. So there would be a matter of not just cutting him out, but unearthing a whole bunch of stuff and then replacing it back once he's out. So it wouldn't be easy. But
yeah, it's almost as if it's hard enough that a goddamn techno mage couldn't figure it out.
Exactly. Yes.
Like, I love that this, like, super mysterious, highly advanced technological individual is like, yeah, no, I can't figure this problem out. I'm going to contract it to a bunch of vanilla mortals.
Well, vanilla mortals who have more access to resources than he does.
I guess, but like, I don't know. I still assume that this is not a summa cum laude techno mage.
So, all right. So you're doing that, and then Mirgarat, you're also going to do the conference with the brains to figure out, piece together some stuff. So one, I'll need another telepathy check.
Okay.
Also, does the dark
19.
go out? 19. Okay. And then I'll need this. A diplomacy check.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. $14.
Okay. So the diplomacy is basically seeing whether or not you and the brains can work in harmony to solve this problem, essentially. And there's still some discongruities and personalities still come into effect. They're getting better about working together, but still it's strange and unusual situations. So some of them did share what little they were able to glimpse from the direct download. It was just too much to kind of hold on to data, because the second you realize something else has replaced it, and the thing you were trying to hold on to has already vanished into the ether.
Yeah, this is a terrible way to transmit data, by the way.
But a couple of them figured out. Do you know what a RAID system is?
A what?
A computer raid system.
Yes.
I think we can take that as a no.
Okay. So in this particular case, a RAID system is essentially when you join multiple hard drives to act as one.
But they're structured in such a way that, say you have 5 hard drives you put together and now they're one big hard drive. They're structured in such a way that one of those hard drives can physically fail and it will still carry on. Hold on a second.
That does sound very cool.
Well,
yeah,
it's actually old technology, but it's handy.
I mean, old technology does not mean not cool technology.
That is true.
Yep.
That's the entire premise of steampunk.
There is that.
So basically, they figured out that the brains are trying to get the information back and forth because they essentially, as the 8 of them, acted as a RAID feature where they would get segments of data, multiples of the same segment, but not over the same system, so that they were better able to handle the capacity. Now, as they were trying to piece a few things together, let's start here. They actually do say, look, we're having trouble accessing what was put in, but it feels more like memory. So the one of them, who was an engineer, actually says, ask us something so maybe we can piece together the information by recall rather than trying to get something, because we need to know something to focus on so we can pull that information through.
Okay.
Wait, I'm confused. They don't remember engineering?
No, as in, one of them was an engineer, and they can't actually figure out, there's so much data coming into them and parts of data that they can't just say, oh, I remember X.
Oh my god, it's exactly like the beginning of our sessions where no one remembers what happens last time, and then as soon as you say something specific, we're like, oh, we get all of that now. Okay, good.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen who just heard that in the podcast, yes, that's how we operate every week.
Yep.
Every goddamn week.
All right.
So they said, look, you just ask us a question or two about something, anything. Maybe we could try to pull together and it will click.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question then. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask something in in the language of the pak'ma'ra. I think I'm just going to ask something like innocuous, like, what did you have for dinner last night or whatever, which is actually an extremely deep philosophical question in pak'ma'ra culture.
That would be, ooh, did you have for dinner last night?
What? We preserve we preserve like plants and animals as well. So I'm going to ask that because based on the presence of the singing, I think that guiding them towards something involving the pak'ma'ra may be what is necessary.
Okay.
So I am telepathically going to use I'm going to send them a telepathic snippet of Pak, because obviously we've been communicating telepathically, and so language has not been a barrier. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, give me another telepathy check.
23.
Okay, so you do try to send some of the language as a way of saying, look, I think we're using this, everything else, and immediately you're kind of got with essentially annoyed screaming.
From the brain?
Yeah, from the brain. Because you're sending, they're going, look, we've got enough we can handle. Stop sending.
Oh, so they thought I was sending additional data.
Uh-huh.
Which says this is pak'ma'ra in origin. Okay. I'm going to ask them, Yeah, I'm gonna ask them, what did you have for dinner last night? Because I've established that's like the pak'ma'ra equivalent of how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. World building.
Careful, I've been doing some of that on my own head, and it's not great. Basically, when you ask them, what did you have for dinner last night, they just kind of shrug and they said, none of us have eaten since we've been removed from our bodies.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the intent of the question. The intent was to jog their memory. Okay, so clearly, I'm going to ask them some very technical question about plasma, because all pak'ma'ra technology is plasma-based. Becca doesn't know what an intelligent question about plasma would be, because I'm not a person who does anything related to plasma. I assume Mirgarat would know what an intelligent question about plasma.
This is definitely why we have stats for intelligence and skills, because there's plenty of things that Mirgarat knows that you don't, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that, because I think that will be a reasonable way to basically give them a pak'ma'ra pop quiz.
Okay. So only one of them has any knowledge about plasma. Again, the engineer. Now, the engineer itself was the ship designer, and a Centauri. So his ideas about plasma vary highly from what you would consider standard pak'ma'ra answers.
I guess that would be a technical engineering role?
Yeah.
All right. I can do that. 14.
Okay, so yeah, you have some intelligent questions, and the engineer can answer some of it, but from a different perspective. Because again, the engineer is Centauri and has a different point of view of plasma than you do.
But isn't the whole idea that we're trying to help them access the information that was downloaded?
Mm-hmm. Well, so what does that tell you?
It tells me that it didn't have jack to do with plasma, I guess.
And what does that tell you based on the reason you decided to choose plasma?
Well, I chose plasma because it's the basis of pak'ma'ra technology. So it's something that is similar enough to pak'ma'ra that they thought I was still sending when I transmitted the pak'ma'ra language, but it doesn't have anything to do with pak'ma'ra culture. Is what I'm getting.
Okay.
So I am going to ask them a question. Actually, can I roll pak'ma'ra culture to see if there's anything if there are any splinters of the pak'ma'ra language in history that might help me figure out what the hell is going on here?
I'll do you one better. Just go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, what's your intelligence?
16.
Okay, 15, so just under. Okay, so you're it is, of course, sometimes these intelligence tests are a way for me to kind of go, poke. In this particular case, you're going, part of the intelligence is when they said, please stop sending, it was because their bandwidth had been used up. They're still processing information. So when you tried to send the language, it's another data file to add to the overburdened hard drive.
Okay.
So
wouldn't that have been the case with asking questions? Because an email and I was going to make an analogy, but I don't think I know enough about technology, but it's all data coming through the same source, because the only way we have to communicate is telepathically.
Well, think of this in this particular way. Again, they're digesting everything, but also think of it that, using technical terms, the brain is a hard drive. That hard drive has now been pushed to capacity. So what happens when you have a hard drive that's almost completely full? How do you make more room? You either delete stuff or you defrag. And when you defrag, you're putting all the little bits together into something that actually opens up some space and shifts things around. It makes it a little bit easier to process.
Okay, so is it that I was
there's
trying to give them a file that's too big?
one other possibility: compression on the fly. Remember Windows 7 had that?
That's true. Sorry, but what was Becca? What was your question?
Is it just that then that like the file I was trying to send them was too big?
Essentially, yes. But what you're also trying to do with the questions is not adding to the hard drive. You're trying to recall from the hard drive.
Yes, but that's what I was trying to do with the initial. Like, I was just when I was sending in POC, I was still doing that. I was just sending the query in a different language.
Mm-hmm. But to get sent in a different language requires essentially a language data file, so they would understand it.
Actually, the idea wasn't necessarily that they would understand it, because like either they have the information downloaded or they don't. Like, if you're using the find function, you don't need to have like your computer doesn't need to be able to speak Dutch. You just type a Dutch word into the search bar and it'll match any strings that match that.
True. But in this particular case, you're not asking in Dutch, you're asking in C++ with the system that is designed for machine code. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So that's why when they have to understand POC, at least to give information. They're basically having a conversation with you, and to have more information of how to speak or how to understand POC becomes more data they have to process.
Okay. Yeah, I think then I'm gonna ask
Go ahead, make another intelligence check.
No, actually, like, I'm trying to think for a second. I'm gonna ask something in Yithian.
Okay. You've all been practicing Yithian, so that's fine.
Yes. So I'm going to ask some kind of question about like astronomical charts or whatever. Like, I'm just going to ask like, how do you get from this place to this other place, but in Yithian? Okay.
All right. So in that particular case, asking questions in Yithian, y'all have been practicing the language, so that's not going to be a problem. They do try to say a couple things about how the Yithians saw time and saw space and saw travel, which, again, stuff that had come up previously thanks to Ty's information.
Yeah, and also that's probably some arrival shit.
Yeah. It's contact or arrival. I think I have. I just can't remember right now. Oh, yes, I have. Thank you. Yes, with the squid people. Right.
Yes, the ones that like have access to all parts of the timeline because of the way their language functions, and also Jeremy Renner is a fucking tool.
That too. Unfortunately, my brain jumped to The Arrival, which is a bad sci-fi movie starring Charlie Sheen from the mid-90s. So I had to process that for a second.
That is not in my cultural lexicon.
Be thankful. So in this particular case, asking the Yithian questions, like I said, just for my own head, though, give me another intelligence check.
Okay. 4. So, yes, that is a good thing because my intelligence is 16.
All right. So they're talking about places and things like that, and they are starting to process a bit more because they feel like they're getting a better scope of the land, for lack of a better term, and that something mentioned to them was about not just jump gates and hyperspace points, but holes in space that act as a slipstream corridor. They're not as efficient as hyperspace, but they help certain structures get from worm cloud to worm cloud.
Wormholes! We have discovered a network of wormholes!
Kinda. Again, nowhere near as efficient as doing the hyperspace jump, which is essentially another wormhole, sort of.
Yeah, but these are like natural wormholes, so it's different.
Exactly.
It's like taking a system of caves through a mountain versus like dynamiting yourself a nice tunnel.
Bingo. That's a good way of putting it. Yes. And so there's a couple of those around here that they're almost certain of. They just can't quite figure out the wheres and whens. There was an image that came up though, and one word that came up last time that came up again, and that was model maker. When you start talking about, astronomy and travel and all the rest of that, the concept of the model maker was how that came up was somebody, you couldn't even figure out who, because they're starting to work almost as a hive mind, mentions that the model maker's about 3 jumps from here using the corridors that I mentioned, these slipstream corridors. But the slipstream corridors, by the way, also they can tell you do not extend past Vorlon space.
I suspect that means that the Vorlons are responsible for these wormholes.
They did say, the model maker's not far, and that this is something that they just find fascinating. They haven't quite pinpointed down what it means, but there was something important about that. That whole, like when you're trying to recall something you know, but you can't remember it anymore, and so it kind of itches the back of your head.
Yes, and I hate that feeling.
Yeah, now imagine that on, times 8.
And also you're a brain in a jar, so you can't even scratch your brain.
Yeah. Well, you can. You just have to think of the right thing. A lot of ASMR helps. Sorry, I had to say it. So you're getting this information about this is stuff that seems to be coming up, and you can't quite get your hands on it, but it is something definitely there. And the other thing you can tell from all these conversations, they're helping with the defragging, and they're helping with the processing, and they know they're going to have a lot more data soon. They're literally say they're going to sleep on it, because that's another way of processing stuff.
Yep.
But the other thing they realized is they were, as I said, the RAID drive, but the RAID drive had a primary hard drive to pull from. That was Tuvo.
So we're not going to have clear answers until Tuvo's awake and able to contribute to our brainstorming session.
Exactly.
Yes, it was on purpose.
What?
Sorry, my partner asked from across the room, brainstorming, was that on purpose? Of course it was fucking on purpose.
Don't you love it when your actors give you a good improv? I know I do. But that's why you have to keep coming back to join us again for another episode of Odyssey, a Babylon 5 story. Now, I have a new microphone and I know exactly what to do with it. This great Earther tradition, they call it karaoke. I picked up this book from something called ABBA. I think it's going to be a great performance. Where is everyone going? Come back!
And that's where we're in for this week. I want to thank everyone for joining us and hope that you continue to join us every 2 weeks for another episode of Odyssey. If you have any questions, comments, constructive criticisms, or just want to say hi, then you can find us at temporalplaygrounds.com/Odyssey or email us at temporalplaygrounds@gmail.com or find us on Facebook, Odyssey, a Babylon 5 RPG podcast, or Reddit, r/OdysseyB5. Babylon 5 was created by J. Michael Straczynski and is owned by Warner Brothers Domestic Media. The Babylon 5 role-playing game was produced by Mongoose Publishing utilizing the OGL gaming license for D20. Our audio engineer is Gabriel Belden. Our theme music, Titan Striker, was composed by Evan King. Incidental music provided by Tabletop Audio at tabletopaudio.com. All other music provided by Creative Commons license and is available of information on our website. Once again, I am Daniel, and I thank you for joining us on this grand adventure. Good night, and keep dreaming.